Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Victoria Skirbo. I'm here in my dining room at the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. So the ship is sinking. And you know what they say about the rats when the ship is sinking. So I thought I would look at the major players that have come up so far in this latest Trump scandal. Latest, maybe greatest, maybe not. Maybe there's bigger ones coming down the pike. The man is a criminal. He's always been a criminal. If anybody would have cared to look to see all the shenanigans that he has partaken in, all the people he has hurt, how he preys on the weak, through his whole career, you would have kind of gotten an idea of what his presidency might be like. But there are other factors involved, and on some level, it was important that he was president. Notice I said was. Sorry. To teach us something, right? To teach us something, to give us a view. It's interesting because when we interact with people in our lives, even on a personal level, there's always something that we learn about ourselves through that interaction. And the more difficult the interaction, the more we learn. And so we've learned a lot. Some people have learned that they have been under the thumb of a narcissist their whole life and didn't really realize it. The idea of narcissism and gaslighting and all of that, right? There are some people who realize that they had been sexually abused that came up through this administration or not believed, right? The reality of most women's lives and the perspective that we have as we move through our lives in a culture that is predominantly patriarchal, where the people in power are predominantly male, and the commodification of women and their bodies and their progeny. It's as if on some level we are, we're the baby makers that fuel that are the fodder for the war machines. It sounds cynical and stark, but it's not that untrue. Imagine what life would be is if we lived together in harmony. Imagine what life would be if we lived helping our neighbor instead of trying to one-up them, instead of trying to throw them under the bus. It's the way the powerful divide us. And they just sit back and laugh and say, look at those dopes. They're fighting amongst each other and we're the real enemy. So, we're learning, right? We're learning. And they will soon learn too. I thought it'd be interesting to do this reading today because Mars, the planet of action, has just moved into Libra. It'll be there about 6 weeks. Mars spends about 6 weeks in a sign. And while Mars in Libra is not necessarily considered a great position for Mars, because Mars does like forward motion, immediate gratification, point A to point B, when it's in Libra, it requires us to cooperate. It requires us to compromise. It requires us, to a certain extent, to go by the social mores or the rules of the game. Libra rules justice and the law. But when we put energy into that, then things happen. And so it's interesting. Like, I guess maybe I should have seen it coming, but there's just so much to see. Um, that when Mars did move into Libra, that things would really move on the legal front. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that there's really nothing that's going to stop this process now. As to the end of this process, um, that's a little bit more. What is it going to look like? What's it going to mean? Um, there's a part of us that we need to just diligently apply ourselves to our own lives, to finding balance and justice within our own lives. And like ripples on a pond, it ripples out into the greater collective. And so everybody's personal journey towards balance becomes the world's journey towards balance. So I thought what I would do is to look and see where everybody stands in this situation. Um, so we're going to start at the top, right? The fish rots from the head down. And let's go to the very, very tippy top. And I'm using a new deck that I haven't used before with you guys. In fact, I think I've only done one reading with it on a friend of mine, and it was a great experience. So this is called the Tarot. I'm sorry, the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's got some interesting pictures. All right, so I'm going to just put these out. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 5 cards. I'm going to pick 5 cards on each person. I'm not going to do a Celtic cross because I just want to get a general idea of where all these people are sitting. So let's look at Trump. And I'm going to just pick 5 cards from the middle of the deck, and then I'll show you which cards I picked. It's just when I do it this way, it's easier to pick that one, 2, 3. And because these cards are new, 4, 5. Because these cards are new, we'll just hold that card aside. They're a little hard to pick. Okay. All right. So we have the 4 of Wands here, the Daughter of Cups, the 6 of Pentacles. Oops. The World card, and the Empress. Okay. So these are Trump's cards. These are pretty nice cards, actually, for somebody who's in the position that he's in. So right now, today, this feels like he is. These 2 cards together, actually all of them. I feel as though Ivanka has something to do with what he is trying to procure, where his energy is today is on bringing more money into the situation, bringing more. He needs more money. He feels he needs more money. I don't think he's above taking it from places where he shouldn't take it from. We know that for a fact. I also think that he's looking for help from the people around the world that he feels that he can get help from, whether it be Russia or China, the Ukraine, wherever it is. He is calling in his markers, and that includes his daughter. He's put his daughter on some sort of. He's given his daughter a job to do. when I picked the cards, there was one extra card. Okay, and so this is the Nine of Pentacles. This I always see as an Ivanka card as well. So for some reason, Ivanka is in the middle of all of this. I think he is saying protect the money. Yeah. He's not worried about this, at least not today. He's not worried about this impeachment. He's on to the next thing, and the next thing is keeping his family with resources. All right, let's see. Let's go to the next top guy. I guess that would be William Barr. Let's see what's up with William Barr. Let's see the energy around Barr. And I'm going to go through, I think, most of these guys as best I can. Okay, this is Barr. The Two of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles. Can you see that? There we go. Two of Cups. It's very interesting. The Son of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles. He is also seeking out finances, calling in his markers, calling in favors, depending on relationship. Very interesting, right? It's very interesting, all the pentacles coming up. Well, it's not really that surprising, but it's interesting. All right. Let's look at Pence. Pence is sort of caught up in this. We have the Five of Swords. The Mother of Swords. This is the Queen of Swords. The Three of Swords. Betrayal. The Six of Wands. It's the Victory card. And the Hanged Man. Okay. These kind of make sense. So we have the Five of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Three of Swords. A lot of swords, a lot of mental anguish. This is unfair actions taken. It's possible that he was involved. He was definitely involved. But as to how diabolical he understood this whole process to be, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he knew just the pit of vipers that he was connecting himself to. Perhaps his ambition got the best of him, which happens a lot with Trump. We have the Queen of Swords here, or what this deck calls the Mother of Swords. And so this is investigation into him. This is the law. This is sort of justice coming down on him. And then the Three of Swords is a sense of betrayal and having your heart broken. And then we get the Six of Wands after that. And we can see that there's a rainbow up here, like victory. But if you see the wands down here, they're all scattered. They're not organized. This can be victory at what cost? Okay, the cost of his very soul, perhaps. And he hitched his wagon to maniacal beast, and we have the Hangman. He's getting hung out to dry. He's going to be sacrificed. Okay. All right, he's done for. Let's see Giuliani, because Giuliani is sort of a weird player in all of this. Just a very odd. And I would like to try to figure out what this is, the whys to all of that. Like, why Giuliani? Why? Get down to the root of that. But that's another reading. Okay. Okay. This is Giuliani. The goat. The devil. Okay. Greed, avarice. The Strength card. The Two of Swords. That's being at a crossroads. The Lovers. And the Four of Swords. So this actually bespeaks the relationship between the two of them. Little, him and Trump. We could say that he's the old goat. He's the devil, right? And Trump would be the lion, right? Because he's in the leadership. He's Leo ascendant. And then we have at a crossroads. So there's, or at the swords are crossed, right? And we can see, like in the middle here, there seems to be an eclipse. I see that? An eclipse. An eclipse of the sun. The Lovers has to do with relationship and choices. So we know that they're in a long-term relationship with each other. And then the Four of Swords says to me that Rudy is taking a back seat. He's stepping back right now. It's interesting, though, because we have the Lamb here, and the Lamb has what looks like a sun in his third eye, but all these swords are pointing down at him. So this is almost like the sacrificial lamb. These are very interesting cards. I'm going to pick a couple more just to see if I can get a better, because this isn't answering really. The Mother of Wands. We'll talk about the pit viper, right? Mother of Wands. And the Father of Cups. I said in a previous reading, sorry, I have like a hair on my nose from my glasses, I think. Driving me crazy. I said in a previous reading about, I think it was Giuliani, I mentioned the relationship, the long-standing relationship he's had with Trump. And then I thought that they were both involved with the Russian mob. And these cards might indicate that. And it's not so much, it's the Russian mob, right? But it's not so much about Russia as it is about the mob. And I think that Netanyahu is part of this whole thing as well. I think he is connected to that whatever that dark devil energy is, that oppressive energy. So really, this is, I feel like this is a real, it's funny, okay, a real fight between the dark and the light here. And it's interesting that when they talk about Giuliani, they call him Dracula because he sort of looks like that now. And as he's getting older, he's getting that, like, what was it, Nostruphophis? Hey boo, that energy, very strange. Yeah, so we have Dracula. Yeah, okay. Wow, that was creepy. Let's look at Volker. Is that the guy's name that they just talked to? Who was what do you call for the Ukraine? Let's see what's going on with this guy. Then I think what I'll do is I'll look at the Trump kids, because okay, so we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, this is something new creative energy. We have the Temperance card, which is about balance and walking the straight and narrow. The Four of Cups. See the rat? I talk about the rat. So he's one of the rats, probably. This is the Seven of Wands, but it was upside down, which I did not see any upside down cards, so this one wants to be. So this is generally the person with the moral high ground wins. The guy with he's up on the hill, and all the wands are coming at him. But here we have this, and we see the fire associated with the wands, right? The creative fire, but it's under here. It's under here. And what this looks like to me is that despite the fact that these wands have been trying to cover over the light is starting to shine. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So of course, his life changes dramatically. But it's almost like this is the thing so his testimony, although it was in a private thing, I imagine was very damning and could sort of, what do you call the wheel a little bit. All right, let's see. So we have Trump calling in his markers. We have Barr looking for money. We have Giuliani somehow being connected to Trump in a fight between good and evil. And Volker is bringing up the light, bringing bringing light to a situation that he didn't necessarily want to, but he was sort of forced. He was sort of forced. Let's see, is there anybody else I want to do with this reading? Is there anybody involved here that I want to... So we did Barr, we did Pence. Oh, and Pence, forget it, he's done. He's being thrown under the bus. And I'm sure there's a little glee in Trump's, here's the good Christian. He's done. Sorry. I shouldn't be laughing. It's not that. It's terrible. All right, I think that's it. I think it's where I want to stop. But I do want to look at the Trump kids, and I'll do that next. And I may use these cards again, but we'll see. So I'm really interested. That the whole Giuliani thing's got me really intrigued. I think I want to dig into that a little bit further if I dare. I'll see what how the energy feels around it, because sometimes things are so icky that if you dip your toe in, you come out smelling like poop. So I don't necessarily want to smell like poop today. All right, I'll be back. Like and subscribe. Bye.